And good evening to you folks. How are you? It is good to see you and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome one and all to the show. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear from an undisclosed location somewhere in the swamps of sunny Central Florida. Hello to you all out there. Thank you for your patience. It's a little delayed this evening, just the usual technical issues as they happen around here, but I'm here now, and that's the important part. So let's see, who do we got out there? We got Dying Breed, we got Michael Dale, the Die Don't Lie, hello guy, Rear Admiral 5, Yang and Zhao, Alan Canning, Drew Cipher, not to be confused with Screwdriver, Unto Excess, and Gonzalo Lira's Bartab. Hello to you too, sir. But anyway, welcome everybody. I am your host. I am Bill Sylvie. I am the Dungeon Delver. And if you like what it is that I do and the way it is that I do it, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications to find out about this and all the other wonderful things we do. YouTube shorts, short form videos, long form videos, and of course, our lovely live streams, which I hope you guys will all tune into. We do this 5 nights a week as often as we can. We have our Monday's a little bit more chill from the formal videos that I like to do, and of course Tuesday night we play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so you guys can see it being done and see it being done properly, correctly. And what else do we do? Oh yeah, Wednesdays and Thursdays we just kind of do what we want. Sometimes on Thursdays we have guests, sometimes on Wednesdays we have guests. You've seen the thumb, there's a bit of a spoiler. We're having a guest tonight. And then on Friday we have Sci-Fi Friday, where we do sci-fi TTRPG-ish stuff. And that particular thing that's going on is we are playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. What's that, you say? How can you play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and call it a Sci-Fi Friday? Well, let me explain to you. We are currently running through the module S3 Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, and you do not get more peak than playing a science fiction module designed to run in first edition AD&D. So if that scratches your itch, if that fulfills a Jones you might have to play some or to watch some TTRPG being played, and maybe you learn a little something. Maybe you don't play AD&D. Maybe you haven't for a long time. Under either circumstance, maybe there's some things you want to pick up. Tune in and watch those live streams on Tuesday and Friday. Gonzalo Lira's Bartab, Bait and Switch. That's right. It sure is. See, Die Don't Lie knows. He watched. But anyway, thank you for the $5, Gonzalo. I want to bring something up, because it's something I said I would never do for this show, because I don't like doing this kind of thing for different personal and philosophical reasons. But I'm going to let you guys know this, particularly if you've been following the show, you might see, and I'm going to close it just in case it's covered up. You might see right down here what looks like an original Dungeons and Dragons set. One thing I can assure you guys of, this is not an actual original D&D wood grain set, but it is to my taste a close facsimile thereof. People have asked me for a year now, since I started doing this, or close to a year, are you going to sell these? Are you going to make these to sell? I gave away some as Christmas gifts. Some are going out as auction donations. I did one for Paige. I'm going to do one for EggCon, which I will be attending EggCon. I'm going to try and get one up to Claricon. for them. But the question is, can I buy one from you? I've auctioned some off myself. As I said, I've given some away. And the answer I've gotten closer and closer to is yes. Now, I do have a few boxes. I have a very few boxes to make more sets with. Here's the thing. The company that makes the boxes that these come in, they have a minimum order. Hey, Excalibur. They have a minimum order that I am in no setting on something. I think it's straight now. Yes. That I'm in no way financially able to fulfill to get the boxes to make. I am going to do a Kickstarter. I'm going to do a Kickstarter for wood grain OD&D sets. It will probably be a one-time only to cover the cost to get me a supply of wood grain boxes to make and to print out the print, since it's not available pod, to print out OD&D sets that you purchase as part of the purchase price of one of these sets. I print, bind like an old school OD&D booklet, put in the box, and send to you. That is going to happen. I need to get the particulars of it together. It's not going to be an easy thing. I don't like the idea of doing a Kickstarter because I don't like the idea of taking people's money unless I have something to give them immediately. But a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And furthermore, if the Kickstart doesn't fund, no big deal. But if it does, then I can order the boxes from the supplier and go forward. Thank you, Dying Breed. I appreciate that. I don't lie. Here's the thing. I am functioning as a print-on-demand service. You have to buy the OD&D rules, and then I print them out and put them in a box. I'm not copying the rules multiple times and printing them out. You buy the PDFs from DriveThruRPG. It's baked into the price. You'll get a download link when you purchase a set. You'll get a download link to the PDFs. But I'm going to get to that when I get to that. All I'm going to be doing is providing a print-on-demand service for something that you will already own. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. You know what we need to get to is I have a guest joining us tonight because I want to talk about a couple of D&D things that I think are pretty important here because, we do live plays here on the show. We do actual plays. And I think people kind of get a handle on how I DM my games. But then I'll talk about like my Monday night game where I have 10 players. I've had as many as 15. And that campaign has been going since 2014. It has literally been going now for 12 years, that game. And a lot of people are kind of flabbergasted about that. Like, how do you keep a game going that long with that many people and other DM tricks and delights? And I thought, well, what better than to invite another DM on the show tonight who has volunteered some of his time and is currently throwing peanuts at the soundproof window between me and the green room. So before he wastes any more of my extensive, those are pistachios, by the way. Those are expensive. Those, good Lord, man. Have some decorum. Let me welcome in gentlemen. You can find him here on YouTube. I would appreciate it if you would follow the link in the description down below and go check out his channel and subscribe to it. Everybody, please welcome to the show my guest this evening, Great Old Ones. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Bill. Thank you. Appreciate the invite on to discuss the greatest game ever invented.
That's
There we
right,
go. We're done.
baby.
That's it. Stream over. Yeah. And pistachios are heart healthy. I don't know if you're aware of that. Does my heart good throwing them at the window.
I yeah, pistachios are a thing. It's like I got to be in a mood, you know. It's like I got to really want pistachios, not like I want a snack. I'll get some pistachios. No, I have to be like I want pistachios specifically.
Mm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I Don't Lie says he loves to mine my Castle Greyhawk games from way back. So, for those of you who don't know, Great Old One's channel focuses a lot on the philosophies we're going to be talking about tonight about AD&D theory and practice. That's the important part, I think, though. Great Old Ones, and I think this is a good enough place to actually start talking about what we said we were going to talk about. And that is so many people get wrapped up in theory. They're what my Australian co-host Kyle Viking Hat GM says is you get up with bitter non-gamers, people who will talk your ear off and waste all your time talking about game theory, but they don't actually game, they don't actually apply it. And I think one of the most important things we can do going forward is, guys, if you're going to listen to this, if you're going to take away anything, please apply it. I'm not just talking because I like the sound of my own voice. I don't. I hate it. But I want you to take what I'm saying, if you're going to listen to it all the way through, and apply it to your games. But what to give me your opinion on theory versus practice, or theory and practice, when it comes to TTRPG GMing philosophy. They're Great Old Ones.
Well, theory is how you think things should work, and then you try them out in practice and figure out, well, that didn't work, so you make your adjustments to your theory.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot out there on game theory, dice statistics, and things like that, but you don't want to dwell too much on all of that in an actual game. The whole point is to have fun. Well, some people actually have fun with that kind of thing, but you take what you learn with your theory and then apply it to your game. Find out what works. That's the whole point behind forming a theory.
Well, sure, absolutely, and I feel like it's oft overlooked by people. Now, I mean, I would liken it to you're a fan of BattleTech, right? Or are you? I forget.
I've seen BattleTech. In fact, the only BattleTech I have is a game called Living Steel, which is totally by a different company. I never really got into the mech and all that kind of stuff. I've always been a big fan of fantasy role playing more so than anything else. But I understand BattleTech, and I understand wanting to spend a lot of money on those cool looking mechs.
Yeah, Living Steel was one of I remember like constantly debating picking up Living Steel because it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
It was from that 90s period of, look, a game's not good unless it has 500 metric pounds of crunch,
Yes. And leading edge games, or if they're nothing, they are crunch, major crunch. And I love them for that, but that's one of those you went way far into the theory and didn't quite apply it as well as you could have. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I mean, when I was a younger man, and myself and all my friends were into BattleTech, we would design mechs until the cows came home. We would break out scientific calculators and pen and paper and just design mechs that would never, ever get fielded, chasing perfect optimization. Like, this mech can do a full 6-hex jump, alpha all of its weapons, not generate any heat, and it's got the maximum amount of armor to sustain a fight, and it's all energy weapons and blah 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 blah. We would design these things to the gills and then look at like the book battle mechs like what FASA actually published,
Mhm.
not understanding that they at least somewhat wanted to pursue kind of a quasi realistic, like, you
Good.
know, well, okay, why does the here's one. There's a mech called an Enforcer. It's a good mech. Large laser autocannon 10. But it only carries a single ton of ammo. Well, why not just delete a half ton of armor and drop the small laser and then put in another ton of ammo? Well, the fluff tech goes in, or the fluff text rather, for the mech goes into explaining how it has this convoluted ammo feed that runs from one torso into the opposite arm, and that it, like, you know, it has been an engineering problem that has thwarted designers for decades, for like multiple decades, to get an ammo feed for this thing that is an absolute crap. And we as kids, as young men, were like, you know, oh, well, the hell with that. I'm just going to make a custom one. You know, I'm just going to make a custom 55 tonner that, you know, does all this stuff, and it gets 20 shots instead of 10 for its autocannon. And it kind of became this arms race, but we didn't understand. We lost sight of the fun and the coolness of the game's fluff for all of our desire to pursue the theory of perfect mech design, you know. And I think in any TTRPG you can do that, you know. It's
and
like,
you'll never get there.
and you'll never get there. Exactly. It's Zeno's paradox, right? To go a distance, you have to go half the distance, and then half the distance again, and then half the distance again, and then half the distance again. And that's what you do when you get steeped in arguing over theory. So I guess what I'm saying is going forward, at least for my part tonight, I'm going to talk about things that I actually practice
Right.
at the table. I'm not going to get blue sky on people and say, well, I suppose you could do this and that, and this would be optimal. I'm going to talk about things that I do. So
Right.
I'm going to give you the talking stick, though, because I want to know, what is the largest group you've ever run at a table?
The largest group that I've ever run for was 8. Almost got
Okay.
a 9th in there, but it was 8. And it was a little unwieldy.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little unwieldy. How did you how did you come to wield it then?
TPK. Yeah.
Yeah, just piss off the people who weren't really there for the long haul anyway, and then you've got a nice sized group.
Yeah, and everybody the size reduced itself. No, it
Yeah.
just gets to the point where it's too hard to go around in the circle, get everybody satisfied with their turns, and mind's attention starts wandering and stuff like this. And so we all decided, hey, wait, this is just too big and too bulky to continue this way. Because again, you know, players are getting bored, minds are wandering, everybody picks up their cell phones now, and it kind of falls apart a little bit on you, and people aren't having so much fun anymore. So then you decided, well, that was a little too much. Let's peel off a little bit and run for smaller groups to figure out what a manageable size is. I based this off of another theory that come out from basically through the National Fire Academy of your span of control. Span of control is 3 to 7. Optimal is 5, and I apply that kind of to my game ideas. Now you can go as far as 7 if you can manage it fairly well. That's pretty good. Anything above that, and it's just too difficult to manage that many people.
That's interesting. Span of control. I see. I mean,
all making comments here. Yeah.
yeah.
Ban that guy quickly. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong then. So I run my Monday night game is I have run it's currently 10 people on Monday night. I've run as many as 15 at that table. And the way I do that, I mean, people look at me when I say that and they're like, huh, what? 50? How that's insane. Part of it is I'm online. Okay. And I don't have, most of my players are courteous enough to not step on each other on the voice channel.
That helps immensely.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It still happens. But I've had great success online, and the way I do it's literally it's round robin. I have a list of players' names in Discord. We use Discord. It's down the left hand side of the screen. Mm-hmm. And I'll just go and I'll say, well, I mean, it's like it's like we do on Tuesday night here or on Friday night here. If you watch the Friday night games, if you ever caught any of those, I just go down the list. I'm like, okay, yep. Great old ones. What are you doing? All right. Gonzalo, what are you doing? All right. Yang, what are you doing? Okay. Dave, what are you doing? Okay. TK, what are you doing? Just boom, 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 boom. I get the actions. We roll initiative and then you act on those actions. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as a DM, as long as you put your foot down and you say, this, oh wait, no, I'm not going to do that. I change it. You have to stay ahead of that. You have to ride the crest of that wave like a surfer and constantly be suppressing players' indecision, their desire to change their minds and try and switch up on you. Once the machine starts going and people see how it flows, even people who are new to it come to it and can roll with how with how that system works online. I want to emphasize that online. Now, in real life, I have done 7 at home. It was borderline chaotic. At a convention, I had 24. And that was insane. I don't recommend ever doing it. So optimally, I think there should be a caveat to wait, who's forcing their way in? Get out. Somebody get security. Don't let this guy in. Oh no.
Hello.
Oh,
Gonzalo, jumping on.
Now still not getting the +5 Holy Avengers.
That's not me, man. I'm not a treasure guy. I'm in it for the role play.
Right.
And I get it from Great Old Ones, who's I've really enjoyed playing in his Friday night thing. That's first edition. And he is the first GM to crush my dreams of first edition with the arrows, +1 arrows get destroyed after they hit. I thought they were reusable up to that point, and he took that away from me.
Now, hey, I take the middle path. If a +1 arrow misses, its magic's not expended, and you can collect it. But you can only ever collect half of what you shot. So if you fire 6 +1 arrows and they all miss, 3 of them you can gather and reuse. The other 3, they struck the wall. They broke when they hit that chair. They hit something and expended their magic. But that's just me.
I think that's basically what Great Old Ones is doing, essentially.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. Why?
It's not a problem. I adapt. I think I'm a good player. I think just as a player, one thing I'm pretty good at is uh, helping the DM where I can. I know it's sort of metagaming, but there are times when it's clear that the DM is trying to get things to get moving or move along or move in a direction, and I'm happy to do that when I can because I GM too. So I'd like to think that's a minimum strength as a player. But I enjoy playing in both you guys thing, and I wouldn't get to. I feel like I get pretty involved, and I wouldn't do that if it was boring or I wasn't enjoying it.
Well, and I'll tell you, you hit on something important here, and I want to hear your opinion on this, Great Old Ones. But one of the things that helps those situations, again, 10 people on a Discord call, maximum of 15, is you've got to have the right group. All right, like I would not say. Go to LFG on Roll20 and get 10 randos, and you can do what I'm doing on Monday nights. That's not going to work. That's not going to work because you're going to have people who will not do as Gonzalo said. But in those situations, having one of those people or multiple of those people who can see when the DM might have stepped on his own shoelace, as it were, who can say, okay, not only am I here for my fun, but my fun is incumbent on things going smoothly. So yeah, I'm gonna pick that up, and I'm gonna say, the DM is zoned out, like stuck on something. Maybe I'll prompt him. Maybe I'll say, my fighter needs new horseshoes for his horse. He's going to go through town, and I hope I don't have a random encounter.
So do you remember the night where you were really having the voice problems?
Yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely remember that night.
So
my voice collapsed.
I didn't think you were going to be able to do anything, honestly. I was like, you should just take the night off, and you wouldn't do it. So that's where I got the idea in my head of, I think we were missing some people. So it was going to be role play heavy anyways. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do a thing with Paul, and I have no doubt Delver will pick up on it. And I was trying to spare your voice there. I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but that was
no. I greatly appreciated it. I just like starting that Friday. I remember I came out here on Saturday because I was still knocking out three shorts a day, and like I sat down here. This is where I like record stuff when I do shorts now, just the one a day. But yeah, I sat down and I had my script, and I said. And I tried to drop my voice, and I basically went, "Did you know?" I was like, "Oh," took a drink of water, sat for a minute, took like 10 minutes to try and clear the phlegm out. I thought I got the hitch out of my throat. I said, "Did you know?" Son of a bitch, it's not working. So I strangled out some shorts that day with great effort. And then by that evening, I was like, okay, it should be good now, but it was not. I mean, having a good group when you have a large group online, someone who's willing to step up and be the batsman, if you will, as the English would say, who can come forward and kind of hop in and do that. That's always appreciated. So and that's regardless of edition. So one thing, if you find yourself in a game that is 10, 12, God help you, 24 people strong, and you're finding a level of enjoyment out of that, understand that's not that, that has a little IKEA 2 people on this box thing. there's some lifting as a player you have to do in those situations to make sure. It's easy to just hop into a game that is 10, 11, 12 people strong and see that things might be getting a little chaotic and then just kind of go, well, this guy sucks. I'm not, whatever. And then walk away going, well, that guy sucked. But it's something else entirely to see a situation where things might be going off the rails and you're like, I dig this. I can help this. I can try and do some heavy role play because the game master's voice is blown out.
Yeah, we're in it to play the game, and we can help the game master out and hopefully convince him that we need extra gold because we helped him out. Yeah. But aside from that, that was great. That was a fantastic move by Gonzalo there. When he said something about it, go with it, run with it. It's great. It sounds.
Plus,
fun.
I figured he couldn't really fight back if I because he couldn't talk, so I would just do it anyway. So
exactly.
It was a little selfish too. Great Old Ones is a fabulously chill GM. You should absolutely look him up to get into games at the end of the summer, right? You're kind of taking a vibe this summer, but you're looking for more people.
Me?
No, Great Old Ones later on, like running games.
Oh no, not at all. I really like that group that we got going on Friday. So I'm not looking to do anything different with those. Are
gotcha.
A lot of fun. I just peeling back a little bit to give me some more time for other things like streams and reading books and stuff that I would have gotten behind on. That's all.
I want to answer a question here we have from the audience. This is Alan Canning. My group is currently very new to the game. Any advice? If by the game you mean first edition AD&D, are they having trouble, say, making characters? Because have I got something for you? That is Crum, the Character Record Organizational Manager. It is a program for Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, Mac OS and Linux, and even SteamOS through Wine or Proton, respectively. Crum is the last word in first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons character creation. Not just character creation, but character management. Level your characters up. Drain levels from your characters. Dual class humans, dual class half-elves who wish to become bards. Do you want to use psionics? It's got a psionics function you can use. Buy equipment, sell gems and jewelry, age your characters, add to spell books, subtract from spell books, add or subtract from inventory, save as HTML or text, or print it locally. Crum is the tool for you, and it is $25, folks. $25 US dues. Drop me an email, bsilly@gmail.com. But
if he means trying to get him into it, I mean, there's some of the streams that I've done explaining some of the things in there. Your show is great because you explain things as you move along for those sorts of things. The examples that are in the player's handbook, the examples that are in the Dungeon Master's Guide are great examples of how things are supposed to flow in the game. The only problem there would be if the players can't read. So, then you'd have to read it to them.
It's a testament to both your GMing that I'm in your games because I hate first edition. So it's all about you guys. So that's not true. That's absolutely not true. I have nostalgic love for first edition, in which I never GM'd or played right as a kid. And I'm here doing.
Oh no, me neither. That's why we went after reading more of it and got back into it and studied the game a whole lot more than we did. When we were kids, we just got into playing. Oh, wait a minute, Rollmaster. This looks a whole lot of fun. So we're to play that one.
Yeah. I consider playing in both you guys' games free school, essentially. That's what I'm getting out of it. In addition to a game.
I'm supposed to school you. Oh man,
well, not free in your case, but basically free.
Yeah.
I mean, But Alan kind of follows up, says they know nothing. Your brother, the DM, is rusty from 25 years. The PCs seem new to dice systems and role playing, etc. I almost feel like, Alan, in a case like this, it would almost be worth your time to literally just sit with them and say, we're going to have an educational session. I'm going to kind of walk you guys through things. This is a consequence free, call it session -1, where you literally just walk them through the mechanics. I mean, I am very much a throw them in the deep end of the pool and let them swim kind of guy, if they can at least doggy paddle. But it seems like in this case, they can't. What I would recommend you do is you just sit them down and just kind of take them through it. I mean, if they're new to dice systems and role playing, I mean, dice systems are going to vary.
Mm-hmm.
As far as role playing, it's literally, well, what would, all right, imagine you're Alfred the fighter. He has a sword. He has armor. There's a bunch of goblins laughing as they throw burning rags into a house. You hear screams of help from the farmer and his wife. What would Alfred do under this situation?
I mean, most people have seen enough movies that they could figure out what their players or characters that they want to try and what they want to do. And your job as the game master is let them know, okay, those things are possible, and this is how you get it done. Or, well, and you would like to try that, but because you can only jump 15 feet and that chasm is 20 feet across, you're not going to make it. So you may want to redecide another way to getting across. It's refereeing as much as directing them and telling them how to run the game, how to play the game. And that's the whole part of discovery, is they're learning things that go along. And if they're learning something, they're going to think it's cool.
Yeah. I definitely. It's like any other lesson type system. You just try and just try and teach as you play. Just create learning opportunities.
Start simple so that they can start picking up on the concepts.
Yeah. Don't run Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun as the first module.
Okay.
I mean, there are pros that can play Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun, and unless they have a copy open in front of them, they're not going to figure out how to get into the inner sanctum chamber there.
Right. Simple puzzles, simple problems. Simple
exactly.
When I was teaching my grandkids the same thing. Well, how are they going to deal with that? I guess you could call him my son-in-law, because he's not really married to my daughter. They've just been dating forever. His worry was, well, if I put these monsters out there, how are the kids going to handle that kind of stuff? These are kids. They've seen all this kind of stuff. Throw it out there and see how they handle it. I mean, they were absolutely loving, 8, 9, 10 years old, absolutely loving going into the graveyard and beating up on skeletons that were coming up out of the ground. And they had a blast about it, right? And they were learning slowly the concepts of how the game kind of thing works. And you explain to them, okay, this is what your character can do. How do you handle this piece? Yeah. Okay. And there's Alan's problem is ghouls right off the bat.
Yeah, the Holmes starter done. J. Eric Holmes was a weird unit, and I say that as someone who likes Holmes D&D. It is the basic D&D for AD&D's expert, if you will. But yeah, he was a dude just straight up putting storm giants in the monster manual section of his basic D&D rules. So I don't recommend the Dungeon of Xenopus or whatever.
You can use a map or whatever, just change the monsters, scale them down a little bit, use monsters a little bit easier for new players to be able to handle and figure out how to defeat and stuff.
Goblins and kobolds. If you need fantastical undead, skeletons.
yeah, that's a good start. And most people understand those. They
Yeah.
work with that.
Yeah. But I mean that's just like I said, just handhold them, take them through the concept. Putting them in a medieval town, of course, is always a fun way to do stuff of light adventuring to kind of get them used to the ideas also. But so the other question, of course, number of groups is Alan disagrees. He likes the risk. Well, I mean, if they view their characters as essentially disposable, at least initially, then yeah, I mean, it's the vibe that's going to work for your table. I do want to pivot though. Before I get to the topic of campaign longevity, what do you like to game master, Gonzalo? Since you obviously hate first edition AD&D.
I do actually like to game GM first edition. Who wouldn't? It's just it's part of who I am because of how old I was when it came out, and there's no getting away from that. But I'm not married, as they say. So I like Rollmaster and Hero System as well. I have mostly GM'd Heroes, 5th edition Hero System for the last 5 or 6 years.
Really the best iteration of the game, honestly.
I mean, did you see the stuff I posted in your Discord?
I did.
The Adventurers Club, once again, that is part of who I am. But yeah, you can do a hell of a lot more. They flesh things out a lot more in Hero 5th edition, and we've been playing I'm very lucky. I've played with essentially the same 5 or 6 people for 30 years, and so we will all decide, well, we're going to play this next, or we're going to play this next. And eventually we just said, let's just friggin' play Hero, because we can do whatever we want with it. And we everybody knows the rules. We don't have to relearn anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Hero System is, I kind of paraphrase Winston Churchill. It is the worst, point by superhero RPG out there, except for all the others. I have a love-hate relationship with it. If I have a group that I played with for about 30 years to Hero System. If there were good evening, Agravar, welcome. But if there were an 8th day in the week, maybe the threeved day of the week, if you will, that I could get free from doing this. And they said, hey, my buddy Kevin called me up and said, hey, me and Rob and a couple of other people, we're going to get together. We're going to play Hero System. I'd be like, I am in. And the beauty of Hero System is up through 5th, and we're talking about decades of the game. Nothing changed. You can literally take Mechanon, who's basically Ultron, for those of you who are familiar with Marvel Comics.
What?
You could take Mechanon from Champions 2 and run him in 5th edition, and he's just as deadly. And I don't mean like, but you have to change if you... No, the rules didn't change. You can just take Mechanon, drop him into your 5e game, and he's going to murder the faces off of characters.
I have all of that. I have so much Hero System. First, Champions 2, Champions 2, Champions 3, the Golden Age of Champions, Justice Incorporated. I mean, the Golden Spike, you name it, I got it. And then 5th edition, I probably have 40 books from 5th edition, like content books. And I'm currently, the pulp thing that I'm currently running has been going 3 or 4 years, and it's essentially the Shadow meets Indiana Jones meets Cthulhu meets Flash Gordon. I do it all.
Love it. Some Rocketeer, maybe?
Yeah.
Rocketeer.
It's called The Wonderful Age of Nonsense is the name of the campaign.
I love it. That sounds fantastic. So that dovetails nicely. And by the way, I don't lie. I said cancel the subscription. to some D&D Beyond. They announced they were going to release that adventure, and you canceled it. Yeah, that's a different beast altogether. But we come then into campaign longevity, something else I was going to discuss, because this came up on Twitter today, and I'm not going to give the person who said this the bandwidth other than to say their comment was, if your campaign has gone on for more than 2 years, I don't want your advice on DMing. I want to give you advice on why your game sucks and you're making life miserable for your players, which is horse shit.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. If they're sticking around playing, clearly they're having a good time. How does the game suck?
He seems nice.
Yeah.
Well, how long you been playing on Friday night there, Gonzalo? Easily 2 years by now, right?
I don't think it's been that long. I think it's been over a year, like a year and a half, but I don't think it's been 2 yet.
Yeah, because I'm pushing 3 years with that group. I mean, and on Monday night, I play with friends I've had since I was 14 years old. Now, we've been separated for considerable distance.
And what are you guys doing in that one?
First edition, of course.
Yeah, I'm not invited to that one. No,
it's full. I've got my 7.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah. If somebody dies and falls out and doesn't want to play anymore, I think I'll give you a nod. It's a late game,
okay,
because these guys are Pacific Coast.
I'm just picturing Gonzalo playing a lever action 30-06, sitting there going through his black book.
Yeah.
There.
But again, I started playing again when I got into virtual tabletops back in 2018. So that game has been running since then. I've stayed in contact with these guys over the years, but the virtual tabletops has allowed us to get back in to gaming again, and I kind of like that part of it.
Oh, Gary McGregor says, love the hero system out here. Sorry to interrupt, Great Old Ones. I apologize. Go ahead.
No. Hero system is really good. One of these days, and you and I talked about it too, I'll sit down and talk about my copy of Champions, the first edition that I got. We'll go into the hero systems. It's still one of the great games.
Well, he mentions Fantasy Hero, which I failed to mention, which I can't believe, because they have there's like 3 amazingly pretty good in-depth world books in 5th edition Hero, like 3 completely separate worlds that have a 200-page book for them in 5th edition. It's pretty well fleshed out. I mean, it's generic as hell, but it's in-depth enough for you to build a campaign on, which, I'm a lazy man.
Sure. One thing I am going to take Hero System to task for, and then I want to talk about game longevity. I do, but we have to we have to talk about this about Hero System. Is when I first met the group that I have now known for over 30 years playing Hero System, one of my players became an absolute pest about Hero System because he eats, drinks, and breathes. How can I convert that to Hero System? He is that one GURPS guy that everybody knows, right? It's like, hey, I can stat that up for GURPS. So you guys are playing AD&D? Yeah, I've done all the Slavers modules, but for GURPS. You want to play it in GURPS? Let's do GURPS. I'm like, no, I don't want to play it in GURPS. But Jeff, my buddy, good guy, sweetheart. Jeff is he's the Hero System guy. And when we would be back in 1989, 1990, we'd be all about BattleTech. We'd be all about playing a fantasy game, MERP or Rollmaster. I couldn't get those guys playing D&D, but whatever we were playing, Jeff would bring out there's Robot Warrior for Hero System. You guys could do your mech game in Hero System. Mm-hmm. And I gave it a look. Because all of the art in there was by, I've gone completely blank. He's done work for TSR. He's done work for BattleTech. Why can I not remember this fellow's name? I am so embarrassed about this. He did artwork in Star Frontiers. really good science fiction and fantasy artist for TSR, but for many other companies. But anyway, so I gave it a look, and at that time, the company, and I think it was Iron Crown, was publishing around the 80s, 90s Hero System, right?
Hero System? No, Hero Games. I don't think they've been owned by anybody else that I can recall.
You know, the Iron Crown Enterprises owned Hero.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. I don't know if they still do, but they did. I don't think they still do. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no,
Iron Crown Enterprises kind of went away, and the only thing you got left is the European division that's kind of picked up on the Rollmaster stuff.
Yeah, I swear I have some like my fourth ed softback Hero System rule book is Iron Crown, but
it absolutely
shows
is.
you how much I've stuck up with it. Yeah.
But oh God, that is at once the best and worst thing you could say about the Esperanto of RPGs. Jim Holloway, thank you, Alan Canny. It was Jim Holloway. So yeah, I took Cyberpunk was another game I was into. R. Talsorian Cyberpunk. So my buddy Jeff forced like proselytized Hero System and gave me Cyber Hero, Fantasy Hero, and Robot Warrior to look at. And where Iron Crown had so seriously dropped the ball is they immediately, like page 1 of those books, started just describing stuff in Hero System. They gave you zero fluff. They did nothing to immerse you in the idea of, I'm in a mech, I'm a guy, I have a magic ring and a magic sword, I'm I'm a hard-bitten cyber. It was like, oh, okay, so this is an auto fire 5d6 2 times armor piercing RKA. The armor is 21 body hardened and
mind weakness.
Exactly, and it just on and on like that. And in those books, they framed it just as more Hero System. I didn't feel BattleTech. I didn't feel D&D. I didn't feel anything but just more Hero System. And I was like, dude, if I wanted to play Hero System, I'd be playing Hero System. With 5th edition, they finally got it in their heads that you have to build a sense of the genre that you're playing in into the rules system. And I felt like that makes the 5e books, the 5e other systems other than superhero role playing, that makes them the best of the
content.
The content. Really it does. I want to be able to read an RPG book for fun. And the Robot Warrior and Cyber Hero and
technical manual instead of a fun book. Yeah.
They were not fun books.
Read Monster, what is it? Something in Mad Men. I can't remember. It's got Mad Men in the name. It's a if you want humor, if you like humor and good funny backstories, that's good for pulp. On that, can I just say something about that MERP map real quick? The famous one.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't know how many people have that map. I have it framed from my copy from when I was a kid. And if you look up in the very upper northeast area, you will find an island called the Merforstiser, which is the name of the setting in the Iron Crown Enterprises Rollmaster, the Iron Wind, which is the first Rollmaster module. So when they were doing MERP, they literally placed their world setting on the MERP map up there in the corner.
Huh. I did not know that. That is fascinating.
I just know so many people who love that map because of the MERP, the art of MERP and the depth in that is also very good. The system was like, I thought it was a stunted version of Rollmaster. That's why I preferred Rollmaster. But in fact, I ran a Middle Earth thing, but I used Rollmaster, not MERP.
Okay.
Longevity. That's what we keep trying to get to.
Longevity. All right. So longevity, and again, we're gonna kick this around the table, but longevity doesn't come easily. I say my Monday night game has been going since 2014 or thereabouts. That Monday night game, there were nights when we didn't play because the other player couldn't make it. I didn't just snap my fingers and summon 11 to 15 people to my table and say, we are going to play for decades. I simply started running a game, and I made a world that people want to explore. I'm sorry, random person on Twitter, if you don't get that a world can be a place where people want to live for multiple years and have adventures in, that's not a failing of me that I do. All right. You're not going to come into a thread on X, Twitter, whatever, or pop into my comments or leave me a comment on the video or whatever and talk me down and tell me that somehow my game and my world is broken. That's like suggesting to me that the Lord of the Rings is only good for one read. That's like saying that nobody wants to go back and visit the Great Smoky Mountains again. If they do, there's something wrong. It is a story gamer attitude of, your game is disposable and it's only good for a brief series of one shots. I'm sorry if you're so addicted to immediate dopamine releases that a campaign that goes more than 2 years is something that you think of as brain damage. But as far as keeping that campaign going for 2 years, it is like a garden. Or an orchard. No, let's go with the orchard, because you start out with really just shoots, not even saplings, and you have to tend them and you have to cultivate them, and you have to over time, you have to keep these things alive and flourishing and just slowly but surely growing more and more and more. And when it is alive and the trees are strong, then you can step back, and guess what? You still have to tend to it, but you can just sit back and go, that's something I did. This is a living, growing, productive world. That's how you do it. But you have to be diligent. If you want a campaign to last a long time, a really long time, you have to go and you have to get down on your knees with a trowel and tend to it week in and week out. If you have a couple of weeks where you can't play because the other player can't make it, then you tend to it, send out emails, come up with stories within your world, keep it alive, keep it watered week to week. You have to do this to make it live. Sure, if you stop, if you're like, yeah, I brought out T1 and I had 4 people at the table and it was awesome, but then, a couple of them got sick and one guy had a family issue show up and we didn't play for like 4 weeks and then, they just never came back. No offense, but that's on you. That's on you. You have to make that world a place to be desired, to come into, and to want to show up to week to week, to see what's next. I have been lucky enough that I have accomplished that. And I've been doing it now for 12 years. For 12 years. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is everything right with that. Now look, if you as a DM say, I'm going to get bored with this, so guys, we played for 18 months, apocalyptic event, we wrap up in 4 or 5 sessions, and now we're going to play in Eberron, we're going to play in Forgotten Realms, we're going to play in Planescape, we're going to do a completely different game. But God, I can't do the GDQ games for 4 years. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to. It's just that if you want to, it's absolutely doable. And the idea that you can't, that it is somehow an aberration, is, to my mind, you're either trolling for attention, or you don't understand how and why it could be. And I'm going to pass the talking stick now over to Great Old Ones.
Right. As far as that goes, the best way to get this done is with the right group. They gotta want to get together. They gotta want to play, and they gotta want to play anything just because they enjoy your company as much as you've got some really good stuff for them to play in. That's a big part of it. If you make things interesting and they want to stick around and see how it all plays out, and you've got grand designs and stuff that are in there, and everybody's enjoying it. That's the key, is they're entertained by it. If they're not entertained by it, things kind of fall away. Sounds like this guy played in some games where he wasn't enjoying them, and he decided, well, I wouldn't want to be around these guys long term. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. I agree with him. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I was just trying to. Yes,
take the counterpoint.
Just
take the counterpoint, no matter what it said.
Council of Agreeers have agreed.
I, John Jackson, agree with my opponent, Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're talking about you've had your pulp game going for 4 years. What's your secret sauce, Gonzalo?
Well, I have one person that I've been playing with for a long time that he's my rules lawyer. This is a thing that I think every good, and I put myself, I'm not totally a vibe GM. I do rules, and I know them. But it's always good to have a player who not only knows the rules as well as you do, if not better, but will fight for the rules when you're GMing, because it makes you a better GM. And he's been my ace in the hole. He played the Pixie in the Tall Tales of the Wee Folk that you did during.
Oh yeah.
He played the Pixie, and so I've been gaming with him for 30 years. He's my rock. I can go to him, and he will happily look up the rules while I handle other things. And then another guy that I met out of a group of younger guys. He's probably 20 years, maybe 25 years younger probably 20 years younger than us. I met him through work. And I reached out to a group of about 6 or 7 younger people. I think I posted on the intranet, do the kids still play the Dungeons and Dragons? And turn out they did. And it was 4th edition. So that was I sat down with these guys, and we played 4th edition D&D. And one guy GM'd a couple of sessions, and then they were all like, who wants to GM? I said I would, but then I only invited certain people back, and I gave the other people reasons why I didn't invite them.
I'm dying to know. I mean, this is years in the past. I must know if you're willing to say.
Well, you must know why I didn't want them.
Yeah. What was your what were your reasons?
They weren't like specific. It wasn't really like specific, like, oh, you did this and that's bad. It's just, I'm just not digging the person's vibe, really, is what, just kind of like a Great Old One. There are players who have come with enough playing skills, to make up for their idiosyncrasies. I'm lucky that way. I am a higher functioning, irritating player, meaning I can actually play the game and know the rules, but I'm very irritating. If you're just irritating, then I don't want to play with you. You know.
Sure. No, I got you. I mean, be some flavor of chaotic, but not chaotic neutral.
And then my brother plays. So for the last 6 or 7 years, it's been that group of 4. We've been rotating between 3 GMs, 1 GM doing. We're playing 5th edition hero every game. 3 of us are GMing. One guy's doing fantasy hero. I'm doing the pulp thing, and the guy who played the pixie with you that night is doing a superhero, like literally the champion's world of superheroes, that the content of that.
Right on.
So that's what the secret sauce is, just finding a tight-knit core group of people who it's just part of what they do. And I don't know that I have a formula I can give. It's just luck. Part of it's luck.
Sure. No. I understand that it's not something you can exactly quantify all the time, every time.
You can. I can't. You sure talk pretty. I mean,
I got a real pretty mouth.
You're very eloquent when talking about this. You're an expert in gaming. I'm just a tourist who I'm a very dedicated tourist who comes every season.
No, dude, you are not a tourist. You might think you're a tourist. You bought a house here, okay? You bought a house here and you have dual residency.
Okay.
I'll tell you a funny story real quick about Lake Geneva. Speaking of tourists and residencies, one year my wife and I were up there in the summer. It was when Gary was still with us, and I was sitting at an intersection. If you've been to Lake Geneva, you know that I'm talking about like one of 2 places in like downtown Lake Geneva proper. But I'm sitting at this intersection and I glance at the car in front of me and I'm looking at it. And there's times when you see something that your brain is screaming a detail at you, but it is so mundane, it's almost subliminal. And then I realize that the car in front of me has a Seminole County, Florida license plate. He makes a turn. I pull up like a street and there is a pickup truck that has like it was Escambia County, but it was also a Florida license plate. And then we were on our way to a grocery store or something, like later, a day or 2 later, still in Lake Geneva. And once again, there was a Central Florida County license plate. And I was just like, what? But the point is there were a lot of people up there from Central Florida. You are like that. You have property here. You are not a tourist in TTRPGs. Don't think you are. Do not think that you're a tourist here. You're not.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment. I need to get off my ass and get some online games going, though.
There you go. Yeah. So, are you going to be able to run something at Guac 27?
I would love to. I'm working on a game. I run really hot and cold in my creative process, and you remember how I was posting all that 1st edition Berghoff stuff for a long time?
Yeah, I loved it.
And I just hit the wall, and I was just like, I'm bored of this. And so I went back to my BX basic and expert Aero Lotus cover Moldvay stuff. So I have been doing that again. I have a real problem sticking to a thing and finishing it. I just get interested in writing and creating content under something that I've been doing for the last year, and I just give up on something and just leave it until I come back to it. So I need to get off that and pick a thing. I think it's going to be the BX expert thing. I posted some homebrew rules, which I'm sure you will have plenty, and I encourage you to have plenty to say about them. You will not like much of it, I suspect. But I showed it to Dungeon Delver. He was enthusiastic about it.
I was.
No, sorry, not Dungeon Delver. Doomsword.
Yeah, good, solid guy. Good choice.
Yeah. Doomsword looked at it, and he told me he thought it was pretty good, and that it would be fast to play, and it sort of, the homebrew rules sort of put a little more structure around combat and make the character classes a little more unique without completely destroying the system, and it introduces a skill system that uses stats, which I believe every GM just natively does that when he doesn't know what to do anyway. So I don't think that's that huge of a weird thing. But
no, I don't think so either.
So I think that's the thing that people, I'm gonna start playing, and I'm gonna do some beta, some like homebrew beta testing of the rules, and I found out I can do free games, so I'll probably do some free beta testing these homebrews, and I have a pretty decent in-depth world that I've developed. So yeah, that's what hopefully I'm going to be doing that. If I have that up and running, I feel like I will do something at Guac, but I would be so terrified to go do Guac and let you down or let people down by not giving it my full effort. So I'm trying to combine two things. So it all depends on how far I can get with that. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And you have never, like, for those of you who maybe did not get into Gonzalo's game at the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, not at Guac 6, but at the previous Guac, you missed something really special. He is a very, very, very good GM, and I do recommend, if he's going to do that, if he's going to grace us with that, to hop in. But
well, thank you. Do I just super chat you now, or
I would that's oh wait, let's you were supposed to message me on Discord so I could accidentally show that on screen.
Okay.
Like Jason Thor Hall with his former mod saying, should I just send you all the bits in one account? That asshole. Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he's the guy who talks like this and says, this is what my voice really sounds like because I went through second puberty.
Second puberty?
He's an insane person. Basically, this douchebag worked for Blizzard and will tell you that at the drop of his hat. Funny thing about him, you guys, great old ones, have you ever seen the South Park where there's a guy who plays World of Warcraft? He's like morbidly obese and slumped over in his chair, and he's got like a wrist brace on, completely slovenly looking. Have you ever seen that?
I may have seen that one. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Okay. That is his dad. That is Jason Thor Hall's father, because Matt Parker and Trey Stone went to Blizzard and said, we're going to mock World of Warcraft. Tell us what to do so it's right. And they were a Twitter with the idea that they were going to get made fun of. So they took them to one of the senior devs, who was Jason Thor Hall's dad, and he was blown away. And he's like, please make it on me. Make it on me. It's like he mussed up his hair, put on his wrist brace, kind of untucked his shirt, and slouched in it. And they were like, "Oh my God, this is perfect." So, but this guy started abusing the YouTube Shorts system. Got like 1 million followers, making MS Paint drawings, talking about what an awesome person he was. And then he took a massive shit on the Stop Killing Games initiative, which makes. Basically, it's trying to get consumer advocacy so games as a service will not be able to switch off software you bought.
Okay.
And yeah, he took a huge dump on it. And
who's worried about that? I got like 50,000 hard CDs over here. Who's worried about their games? Oh, wait, you guys all are using services, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Shit. I'm sorry. No.
Yes, Shellback vote. We are talking about pirate software. That is the man's name. Pirate Software is his company. He's basically shot himself in the foot so many times. If that was in the realm of talking about this show, other than just to mock him, I could get like everybody else on YouTube. I could do YouTube drama and drama farm and probably get 100 hours.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. A long time ago, I decided to stop doing that because in 2023, when Wizards of the Coast accidentally did the OGL, I started reporting on it on YouTube when nobody else was. And
that's how I found you.
Yeah, YouTube started front facing my stuff. I think it was Doomsword who said, hey, one of your videos is like on YouTube's front page. I'm not logged in locally, so I'm not looking at my own account. This is a machine I never do YouTube on. You're on YouTube's front page. So, I went to bed on January 15th with 1,500 subscribers. I woke up on January 16th with 3,000 and growing. And that ride didn't stop. But once Wizards of the Coast got in front of the PR disaster, which took them over a year, because as soon as things started to die down in the summer of 2023, they sent the Pinkertons to force their way into a guy's house to get back magic cards from him. And then,
I agree, Shellback Bow. Bill has class. He's classy as shit.
I'm fucking classy. But it took them over a year to get ahead of the PR disasters that they kept doing, but they did it. But the thing was, a whole lot of other channels glommed onto this is the nerd rage du jour. So you saw culture warrior channels start doing that, and they wanted to milk that cow until the skin collapsed around the skeleton. And I've said before, like, I was not going to sit there red-eyed refreshing Polygon's page or Kotaku or whoever or Twitter, waiting for somebody to say, oh, Chris Cox at TSR stepped on a shoelace or Wizards of the Coast stepped on a shoelace and broke it. Does Wizards of the Coast hate the shoelace company? Let's do an exactly 10-minute long video with a pause for ads in the middle so I can keep that churning. I just said no. I'm not doing negativity anymore.
Dude, you have me on. You ain't going with the algorithm. Okay, I think you got your bona fides. You're not trying to appeal to anyone.
But
all of the two of us here, we're tanking his algorithm. That's
but no, I'm not going to do negative. And it's even like,
no, there's no room for it. Let's be positive.
No,
this is a game that's supposed to bring people together. Let's not be negative, and let's show the positive aspects of it. There's just too much negativity going on already.
Exactly. And somebody said this further up the chat. They said, what was it? It was just kind of some funny banter about 4E. And I said, I don't like it, but it's up to the players. If they come to the old school and that's their Dorian, then good. And that's how I feel about it. I think if somebody, if some, I ran an in-person game back in 2017 at a local comic shop, which it's a great place, Gods and Monsters. I've talked about it before, but all the people there had played 4th edition. That was the D&D they knew. It was still tall in the saddle at that time. Okay. Now 5e had been out for a couple of years. Yeah, but they had all started in with 4th. I didn't say, get away from my table, you plebs. I said, well, we're playing original D&D. Like the 1974 books. And they loved it. Now, do I think they all went out and bought the PDFs of the books? Well, no, they couldn't because Wizards of the Coast hadn't put them back on sale yet, I don't think. But they had a good time. They thoroughly enjoyed playing. And like, I did not scold them for playing 4E. And honestly, my gatekeeping of my hobby is, do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons? Do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons and set aside any agendas, any preconceived notions? And if the answer is yes, then we'll move forward from there. But I'm not gonna, I will edition more, no more forever. That's my take on it.
It's a whole lot easier to do that when you talk about things you like.
Yeah, it really is. And it does come down to I don't say why AD&D first edition is the best version of D&D by saying how much I hate 5e, how much I hate 4e, how much I hate 3.5 or Pathfinder or second edition or the various flavors of basic. I say AD&D first edition is the best version of D&D, and here's all the good things that I love about it. That's what I do, and that's something else that can play to campaign longevity, and to group size. Is you don't be a sad sack, you don't be a sore head, constantly talking about, well, that edition sucks. I'll joke about it, but because again, it was my shtick for a long time, the hard-headed old dungeon delver, But anyway, that's just positivity, fun, not drama. Exactly. I don't like.
Counterpoint: Miss Frost is the most base GM ever.
Miss Frost, I'm not.
She's the DM from the Jack T. Chick tracks.
Oh yes. Right here. Let me see. Right there, Dark Dungeons.
She's badass as a GM, man.
She absolutely. She really is. Okay, wizard, cast your spell. Okay, dungeon master, my spell of light blinds the monster. The thief, Blackleaf, did not find the poison trap, and I declare her dead. Marcy, you're out of here. You're dead. You don't exist anymore.
I mean, I would date her when I was young.
Absolutely. Jack, I don't know if you're the artist on these. You drew her too hot, my friend.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
You did that. Yeah, I mean, he could draw some uggo looking cartoons. He did not draw Miss Frost as as an ugly broad. No. She's just good looking.
Besides, Marcy had it coming. I mean, come on, that behavior.
Is Jack Chick still alive? No. Damn the is Jack Chick still alive? No, Jack Chick is he is not with us anymore. His ministry still exists. So here's the thing. I actually got this from Heidi Gygax and Eric Garland. If you want a run of chick tracks, you have to order them. They have all of them, presumably the photo negative, because I just presume that they're working from photo negatives, that they're not actually there's no laser printer at Chick Enterprises. But
I mean, I'm not going to pay for that, but I did get those when I was a kid around Halloween one year in the neighborhood I was living in. Those got handed out one Halloween, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
this stuff.
Yeah. But I used to find these on the sidewalk when I lived in Gadsden. I found I found one. He leaned heavily into the Book of Revelations back in the 70s. But no.
I went
So
to
Heidi,
middle school. I went
Heidi
to middle
and
school in Vegas. That's not what I found on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of that was from you. Come on.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so Day of the Final Arbiter's got it. Yeah, 10,000 chick tracks cost a grand plus 235 shipping. The thing is, and I don't know how Heidi and Eric got their small collection. I think they wanted to have more, but they were like, we don't want 10,000 copies of this.
Right.
Like the fun, okay, you give away a copy, like a copy goes in every swag bag at EggCon, right? You do that 1 year, it's kind of funny. You do it 2 years and people are like, okay, yeah, I wasn't here last year, but I get. You start doing it multiple years and people are like,
cons. You spread it around to different events.
yeah. So they damn the Final Arbiter. Also, that shipping cost is a ripoff. Use medium mail, you bastards. Absolutely. But
10% off the top, gross, people. Don't make me tell you again. Don't make me audit.
Don't make us audit you. I had a pastor when I was growing up at our church, which we left, that tried that prosperity gospel bullshit. Was going to sit down and pray over the parents' checkbook. Oh, that pissed my dad off. But $14 on eBay. Yeah, exactly. But
I'm not
yeah, no,
it's all over. It's laying all over the floor of the internet. You can find the funny shit. You don't need to buy anything.
Yeah. But they were not going to buy 10,000 copies of Dark Dungeon and pay the arguably very divisive and bigoted Chick Jack T Chick Productions $1,000 that they could then further spread their message with. Great old ones. Do PCs still roll for initiative or another way?
When I'm running my games, we've been having a little conversation going on here. I like still having them roll, but I don't include dexterity as part of it because part of the Dungeon Master's Guide, one of the things Gary Gygax says is dexterity was already accounted for in combats in your armor class. So you don't need to use that as far as initiative and stuff goes. So roll for initiative. You get your reaction adjustment. It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Now, I feel like there were some crossed wires with that because understand J. Eric Holmes was basically I could have viewed J. Eric Holmes as the Colonel Kurtz of D&D. That like he was out there operating beyond the realms of
out there, yes,
of human decency because
now.
Yes,
okay.
But no, because Holmes Basic D&D has it where you compare decks and every monster has a dex listing. So yeah, you can potentially have like okay, well, the Minotaur has Dex 14. Well, you guys have all got Dex 13, so he's going to go first every time. And the only time you roll dice is when there was a tie. So you just compare Dex to Dex and go forward from there is how J. Eric Holmes did it. But fortunately, they jettisoned that system, which further puts Holmes Basic into its own weird pocket universe. I have a friend gave me a copy of a set of rules called Blue Home, which goes up to 9th level. I'm not sure where that is, but it was a fan production. It was like, okay, what if Holmes Basic was a more complete D&D like RPG? And of course, it came out after Osric and Swords and Wizardry, when everybody was like no longer afraid of Wizards of the Coast parking the Death Star over their house.
and then we had a plethora of old OSR games just pop right up right after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are fairly good. I've read through a lot of them.
I do. I have a few of them around here, and a bunch of them are very good. Somewhere on a shelf over here, I have like the entire collection of OSE that a friend just gave me. Same friend gave me
That's what I ran during Guac was the OSE. That's what I ran it. But I ran it using the basic fantasy rules, not the whole everything. They're trying to turn it more into AD&D with the advanced fantasy rules of it. But
yeah. But yeah, that's
nice looking book.
Yeah, it's not a bad looking book. This was who put this together? This was by Michael Thomas. This was in memory of Dr. Holmes, who passed away in 2010. I recognize some of the names in here: Liz Stewart, Vincent Florio. Who else is in here? Jim Wampler. He worked on this. But yeah, this is basically What If Holmes, but higher level. And so you get I said 9th level. No, clerics go up to 20th level in this. Fighters, clerics, yeah. So it's by Dreamscape Design. If anybody's interested in picking up Blueholme.
In the BX thing that I'm doing, there was a companion that came out in 2009 that was, I presume these people were game designers who were fans of BX, because they came out with the companion, which took levels up to, I want to say 36, and had a bunch of optional rules. And then there was also there's one other book, I can't remember exactly what it's called, the player's guide, or I don't know, it's a general guidebook on it. I plan on at least pulling from some of those.
Sure.
A lot of fans have done great work kind of expanding on things, and I love to do that kind of stuff. I spent the 90s picking up every little weird system agnostic role-playing book that I could during the 90s. I have all these trap books and you know what I'm saying? And because they're good for any system. And a lot of them are people who just loved the game and just wrote a little book. And it was a great time in the 80s and 90s for that kind of thing.
It was. And I think, unfortunately, one of the negatives of the OGL and the D20 era from 2000 probably to 2010, 2011, 2012, when Osric broke through the ceiling, as it were, and showed everybody, hey, look, we can all make our own D&Ds. You don't have to, you don't have to fear the Reaper. But I think there was a period of a decade and a half when people were they were just cranking out very dull, very generic D20 stuff. And if you didn't play the D20 system, well, you weren't gonna find a group. And it was weird because I'd actually encountered hostility out there from people like, for God's sake, just play a D20 system. Everybody knows it. Everybody uses it. Just make it a D20 game, for goodness sake. That's anathema to me.
That's why you be a GM, because people have to come to you. That's why I love being a GM. I love creating and being the editor of the story, but you get known for doing the work, and you'll get people. And right. Oh, well, if you don't like how I'm doing it, guess you're free to go somewhere else then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the absolute truth. And I mean, I have never run a table at a con or at a store event where people have walked up and said, "Oh, this is classic D&D. I don't want to do anything. I don't want anything to do with this." No, they want to play D&D. They want to play the game that I'm running. That doesn't hurt that I have tons of Dwarven Forge out on the table and miniatures. But hey, whatever gets them on the lot.
Dan, the final arbiter, agrees with Gonzalo. You're most wise, my friend.
As a DM, hey guys, next week I'm running Hyperborea. You don't want to play that? Great. What are you running? Nothing? Okay, see you next week. There you go.
We started out with game theory, right? And now we're talking about all these OSR reproduction. Well, there's your perfect example. We've got a bunch of different interpretations and stuff out here of the original game, somebody else's idea on it and takes on it and stuff. And there doesn't have to be one interpretation of game theory all the way through. You've got a bunch of different ideas out there. Steal them all. Steal from them. That's what they're for.
I will say this: the D20 era proved something out that if you grab physical or digital copies of Dragon magazine, and go through, particularly in the smaller classified ads, you'll find role-playing games that you've never heard of before you saw them in those issues. And you may never see, like, it's an ad in the June 1979 issue of Dragon magazine. Okay, cool. And then never again. Never again. It's not in July's. It's not in the next year's. It wasn't in the months before. You do an internet search and it's gone. Wolfmaster, the role-playing game where, high fantasy is the rule of the day. Send a Sazy to this PO box and it's gone. It's completely.
Bill, as irritating and weird as you think us Rollmaster people are, these high fantasy people are really a effed in the head. I mean, these people are a weird subculture cult in role-playing games. I would have nothing to do with them.
I'll take your word on that.
No, the great old ones is talking about high fantasy. He and who's
Alan Canning.
Alan Canning, yeah, they were talking about high fantasy, which I have that book. Yes, I have a problem. I've never played it. It sits on the shelf like 80% of the stuff I get, but I have that book. I need help.
Yeah, that's the game I learned on. A friend of mine, Jeffrey Morrow, got it for Christmas, so him and I started playing that. And then we were invited over to Greg's house to start playing D&D one weekend, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. But no, the all these various systems, they vanished without a trace. Well, here's the thing: if you stumble on those, and you try and you try them out, you'll find curiously that a lot of those games sucked. There's a reason they vanished without a ripple. There's a reason that they just slipped below the waves with just the faintest of gurgles that consisted of that thing. And, I don't want to get too grim here, but, either already or very soon, someone's grandkids are going to put in hefty bags and take to the curb all this old weird stuff of grandpa's that he never sold. Or you're going to find like 30 copies of it in your local Goodwill or thrift store or whatever. But there's a reason that not every idea survived. It's because they were bad. It's because there were some bad games written by people who created unbalanced, unplayable games that, like, hey, everybody digs this when we play it on Saturday night. Well, yeah, because your group that's been playing D&D that's been gaming since original D&D days, and it's now 1981, they understand what you mean by most of the stuff you've put in those rules. A person who buys them isn't going to. And this is pre-internet days. You can't just fire off an email to somebody, right? You got to, I got to type up a letter and send to this guy because what does he mean by this spell costs 2 calories? That's not mentioned anywhere else in the book.
No, the rules are clear and precise.
The rules are clear and precise. So you had these rule systems that vanished. And when the D20 system rolled around, you found out that a lot of what was wrong with that, oh man, everybody loves Dave's game. Dave, you should publish your game. You found out that the problem wasn't really the rules or even necessarily the presentation. It was that Dave sucked as a writer and his stuff isn't good. And D20, but the thing about it was everybody was willing to try D20. You know, hell yeah, I'll buy that at whenever or wherever. So the market got flooded because, hey, it's D20. It can't be bad. It's D20. We love the D20 system.
Everybody knew what a 20-sided dice was.
Everybody
it was good marketing. It was good marketing.
It was good marketing, but it was bad design.
Well,
I don't
ideas trying to capitalize on the popularity of D20.
Yeah, I don't feel like the D20 system as it stood was particularly a great game system.
I never did anything with that. Never once. It just never appealed to me. I was like, I have first edition D&D and BX, and why would I need one D20? This can't possibly be as good as the stuff I already have. So I just never did it.
Yeah, the granularity of how AD&D, OD&D, Basic, even Second Edition, the granularity of how those systems worked was part of the charm. And I mean, I don't know the exact tweet, but I had intended to respond to it. But Mike Merles made a comment on Twitter, something about role playing and combat and that sort of thing. I would like to find which person at Wizards of the Coast who decided that social skills needed to be represented as die rolls in D&D.
Oh,
and just beat them with a wet noodle.
Right. You're sitting down and you're just rolling dice. You're not actually role playing.
I'm rolling sense motive. What does the king really mean?
Jeez.
Yeah, right. It's all dice rolls now. It isn't. There's no role playing. You just.
I'm going to roll seduction on the princess. Ooh, nat 20, and I get a +10 for my charisma. She has to bone me now.
It's the opposite of the vampire thing.
The opposite of the vampire.
The roll with strictly no dice. Wasn't there a vampire? Like, was it a LARPing thing or whatever it was?
The LARP, they did rock paper scissors in the LARP.
And then you had Diceless Amber too, if anybody remembers that one.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Wolf something or other. I never did it. They were having a vampire event once, and my brother and I were very much alike. We're very close to trying to find some 60s Count Chocula Halloween costumes with the smock in the face and go down to that thing with those things on, but we just never got the energy to do that.
I went to a goth bar here in Orlando. A coworker of my wife's, she was my girlfriend at the time, invited her to a vampire LARP, and she didn't invite me, but she knew I was a tabletop gamer. This is 1996, I think.
Yeah.
But she was okay with me coming, and she did ask when I got there, is like, hey, do you want to? And I was like, no, hard pass. Sorry. So I sat in the bar and I watched the Skinny Puppy concert video. I'm trying to remember.
Is that the one you posted on your channel years ago?
Maybe, I think. But no. That was Revco. That was a Revco show. No, this was a Skinny Puppy concert. And I talked to the bartender for a while, and then she was done, and I was like, cool, let's go home.
You do disdain well. I can tell when I'm effing up in the game, and you do it well.
Dan the Final Arbiter said, I went to a vampire LARP because I was told there would be Tig Bitty goth girls there. I was not informed that those Tig Bitty goth girls had to be delivered via flatbed truck. Well, I'm going to say this because we're
Oh.
deep enough in the show that I don't think the algorithm's going to catch me and scold me for saying this too
You
much.
nasty.
But somebody made the comment, you can say what you want about Vampire the Masquerade, but it got so many nerds laid in the 90s.
Oh, boy.
I didn't have to.
Man.
I was the opposite. I was playing in bands at the time, and I was hiding my D&D stuff. I was getting action through the bands. I didn't need anyone knowing about D&D.
Oh, man.
I
was wearing dress blues at the time. That's what I used.
Didn't you once you said something about a D&D interaction that you'd had with your with your girlfriend. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
Yeah, no, you had said like she was disappointed when she found out you played D&D or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so I played in what you would call like math rock or noise rock bands in the post-college era. This is like, Sonic Youth style indie stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
that's not what I would consider math rock, but go ahead.
Well, no, they're not, but they're noise rock. Flint would be math rock.
Fair enough.
But that's how she knew me. And so we spent time together and eventually moved in together and lived our life and moved away from the college town. And after we'd been in the away from the college town for a couple of years, I started dragging my D&D books out of storage, and she basically threw a fit saying that I had misrepresented who I was. I mean, we're still together 35 years later, but
yeah, well, it worked. It worked up.
You weren't getting any action in the 80s playing D&D, or even up through the 90s.
How many bands out there sing about, like, not just Lord of the Rings, but you got bands out there that I can't remember. There's one off the top of my head. Half of their songs is about D&D games. It's a heavy metal band. I can't remember them right off the top of my head. I'll remember like 3 weeks from now when it doesn't matter.
I mean, there's a lot of like fantasy power metal bands out there. There's Castle Rat. Castle Rat's a lot.
Yeah.
Would you consider Hawkwind in that category?
I would say Hawkwind is probably a fantasy. Yeah, they've got fantasy themes going. Hey, Zeppelin, shit. Their music is citrus, hobbits, and that's it. Yeah, citrus and hobbits. That's Led Zeppelin's.
There's a metal band that sung about that stuff. What else? There, Witchfinder Generals had a fantasy theme and stuff to it. So there's a few of them out there. But no, this one group specifically had songs about D&D.
Alan Canning says Errol Otis did an album cover for one band. The Lord Weird Slow Fae is he
was in a band. Errol Otis was in a band. They were sort of in like new wave, the late 80s new wave sound, I want to say. Have you not heard him?
I have not heard his band.
Pretty good, actually.
It tells me now that I need to have Errol back on the show. You guys can go check out just search for Errol Otis interview in the live stream, and you'll get the Errol.
Tell him you want to talk about his music, not D&D or art.
Absolutely, yeah. I love talking to Errol. Errol's a great guy. There's a lot of bands. Weezer has a song called "In the Garage," and there's a line is, "I've got Dungeon Master's Guide. I've got 12-sided die. I've got Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler 2 in my room."
They were playing Hero System right there. Or Villains and Vigilantes, maybe, I guess.
But no, I had posted up today for those of you who may not see my YouTube shorts. I'm still pissed about the Dave Arneson short from April 9th. That makes me so angry at YouTube. But anyway, yeah, the Errol Otis interview was great, Alan. But
wait, I want to try something. I just want to say something very important. I like tabletop role-playing fantasy games, and I don't care who knows it. So
Well,
I
thank
just
you.
did that to see if it gets picked up by the AI thing. You don't do that, I know, but
No, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm trying to figure out how to get the AI shorts to notice me when we get on these panels, because I'm always getting cut off.
But no. So back in 1982, there were actually there still are, but because it's near enough to Chicago, but far enough from the maddening crowd that people tend not to get mobbed. There are recording studios in Lake Geneva. And the number of artists that have recorded stuff in Lake Geneva would really surprise you. But Violent Femme's first album was recorded in Lake Geneva at, appropriately enough, Castle Studios in Lake Geneva. And when Wizards of the Coast bought TSR in 1997 at Gen Con, where they basically finalized it, they paid Violent Femmes to do a street concert. So now I don't know if Gordon Gano knows an elf from a halfling, but I just thought that was a cool fact, and I did a short about it.
I mean, they are a criminally underrated band from the 80s that is, in my opinion, every bit the equal of REM or Husker Du or any number of other bands that got a much bigger rep for indie music.
Preach. I will absolutely unquestionably take the best of Violent Femmes over the best that Husker Du can bring any day of the week.
Yeah.
Gordon Gano is they still perform, but just so amazing. And all right, we're going to go around the table. I'm not going to start off. We're going to start off great old ones. Angriest song in rock and roll.
Angriest song in rock and roll?
Angriest song in rock and roll.
Ooh. I don't know that I focused on too many angry songs. The other thing that comes to my mind is We're Not Gonna Take It, Twisted Sister. But
not a bad choice. Very anthematic. Very it's a righteous get up and kick ass angry song. Gonzalo, angriest song in rock and roll. Go.
My War, Black Flag.
Oh, good choice.
Okay.
Goosebumps thinking about that one.
Yeah.
And they're great choices, but you're both objectively wrong. The angriest song in rock and roll is Added Up by Violent Femmes off their self-titled first album.
Oh, okay.
Added Up is pure, unbridled rage. It is teenage anger cranked to 11.
You are correct.
And it is, I mean, it's so damn good. It's so damn good.
And I think it's Brian Ritchie is the bass player. Isn't that his name? I'm pretty sure that's the bass player's name. He, one of the best bassists of any. I mean, he completely easily the equal of Mike Mills from REM, but technically, I think he would actually. I think he's a better technical bass player than Mike Mills is. He does some amazing stuff. Never Tell off Hallowed Ground. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
Amazing. If you like bass, you listen to the song Never Tell by the Violent Femmes. It's 7 minutes long, so strap in. But
yeah. But anyway, to kind of sort of bring it back to D&D, they recorded right as D&D was just kind of hitting its peak. They recorded the album in 82 and it was released in 83. Alan Canning has a question for my guest here. One of my guests. What is your favorite published adventure?
As a kid, the only games that we had the Ghost Tower of Inverness was the only published adventure we had, and the Hidden Shrine of Tomoachin. That is still my favorite. I never played any of the other published adventures other than those until I started buying up all the MERP stuff. But I'll go back to Hidden Shrine of Tomoachin is my favorite.
The only D&D module with a basketball game you have to win.
Yes.
There is a trap in it where if you touch a pelota ball, you are automatically obligated to try. What is it? 3 hoops you have to make, or just one?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think you got to make one.
Yeah, I think it is just one. You got to make one hoop with the pelota ball, and if you try and cheat, the ball will beat you to death. It'll literally just start bouncing around the corridor trying to smack you, and it does a significant amount of damage. Because you got to remember, what's the character levels on that? 3 to 5?
Yeah, 5. Yeah, I think the tournament characters were 5th level characters in there, right?
Can I say mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, absolutely not.
So you're wrong. No. No, my favorite published adventure is The Assassin's Knot.
The Assassin's Knot what?
The Assassin's Knot, KNOT. You know what I'm talking about. Don't act like I don't know what is that? I don't. It's a weird one. No one agrees with that. It sucked me in. I love the characters in it and the plot. And it's a role play module. I mean, you can get combat, but it really is. It came out before Ravenloft, I'm pretty sure. That was the first module that said you're gonna role play here. I think I can't think of another one that I knew of before that.
I don't even know that one, so I couldn't say.
It's L2. Oh. It's Bone Hill, and then that one.
Yeah,
both on Lendor Isles.
The Lendor Isles modules. We've done a dive on L1, 2, and 3 on the show. I know Ryan David over at Nerd Cognito. He's a big fan of those modules. Oh, hey, FM, good to see you. Greetings from Brazil, the best AD&D live, second only to the second edition. AD&D second edition live. Well, anyway, but no, it's good to see you again, brother. No, Assassin's Knot. I think you're right. It really did bring the serious role play. Now, someone mentions. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I know it's the Clark Ashton Smith module. I can put X2 Castle Amber. Castle Amber has a lot of good role play options in it, but I feel like L2 is literally one of those where a sword will never come out of its scabbard if you don't want it to.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I mean, if you can't play the game without combat, you will not enjoy that adventure. I mean, you could always start it up, but that's probably a bad move to do that. You won't solve the game.
S1 is fairly combat light also. There's really only 2 combats in the game, but that's for entirely different reasons.
Which one's S2 again?
S1, Tomb of Horrors.
Oh, right.
You're too busy screaming at the halfling, don't fucking touch anything to draw your sword beyond the one combat with the 4-armed gargoyle.
I've never had anyone survive that. I ran it 3 times years and years ago. I haven't run it in 20 years, 25
I went
years.
through that one with my brother running it. We were running some fairly high-level characters. I was playing a monk. The only 2 characters that survived were me and the thief.
My hat's off to you. Who was DMing?
My brother, Rich.
Okay, well, he wasn't doing his job. No.
So
we all knew the dungeon too.
Yeah.
There's some metagaming going on, I'm sure.
Here's the thing with Tomb of Horrors. You give me a group of experienced players who are committed to not metagaming, because I mean, Tomb of Horrors is one of those things that, like, dude, everybody knows it. You know, it's like expecting somebody to be shocked at the end of Soylent Green or Planet of the Apes, right?
Or Titanic.
Exactly. Yeah. So, wait, the boat's going to sink.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah. You know. Wait a minute. Rosebud is a sled. But if you get a group that's committed to not metagaming, but they are experienced players, and everybody gets a 6th level character that they can create and they can equip, you can get through that dungeon with close to 0 casualties.
Wow, 6th level character. What must that be like?
6th level characters.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
You gotta.
It's like don't go French kiss the Batwing girl in the dungeon, Gonzalo. But
I lay awake at night dreaming of being 6th level. Sorry, okay, I'm done.
But note to self: put a succubus in the module. But I can conversely give you sit down with 12 people, give each of them 2 10th level characters, and if they're not paying attention, I'll be done by 2 hours. All their characters will be gone.
You have to think your way through that one. You can't murder hobo through it. No.
Exactly. If you just think you're just going to brute force your way through it. Now, I maintain about the Tomb of Horrors is, look, you say this is for what, 10th to 14th level, I think Tomb of Horrors is, or 9th to 12th, something like that. Okay. If you tell me, here's this tomb, I'm sorry, I'm inadvertently doing Tucker Carlson. If you tell me there's a tomb in the Amedio jungle, we checked it out, here's what we found. If you tell me that there's this tomb in the Amedio jungle, there's this horrible demi-lich in there, and it has to be, it's fabulous treasure. Cool. I'm going to hire an entire caravan of dwarven engineers, of caravan guards. I'm going to supplement it with a few clerics. I'm rolling up on Sararex Hill with a group of engineers, and we're going to peel the top of that thing off. My clerics are going to be standing by to cast Remove Curse, Cure Disease, Cure Serious Wounds, whatever it takes. And we're going to treat that like a Heinrich Schliemann archaeological dig. We're just going to peel the top of that thing off, and we're going to, it's like, okay, see that? Look at that maze of doors over there. Everybody stay away from that. That looks dangerous. Okay, that devil face looking thing, brick over that, fill that entirely with cement. Let's bring in some planking and put it through all the hallways so we don't step on it. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm literally, I am bringing, if I'm at that level, why not? You know, hey, take your 14th level character into the Tomb of Horrors. Sure, my 14th level character is at domain level play, and I'm doing domain level play shit to Tomb of Horrors.
By the way, that Castle Amber, those modules are actually basic D&D, not advanced D&D. I'm just pointing that out there because people were talking about them.
Yes. Great old ones. How do you design and run a city adventure efficiently?
I steal somebody else's city.
There you go.
That's what I love about, and I've praised Alan Hammock to the highest of praising. Even if you never run L3, there's a magnificent city map in it. Use that. It's like, oh, the party's going to Divers. I don't have a map for Divers. You going to run L3? Well, no, probably not. There's Divers.
Isn't that Deep Dwarven Delve?
I'm sorry, not L3, A3.
Oh,
A3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing on Friday night. I stole Lankmar, and we're using that to be Specularum. Yeah.
There you go. It's just that simple.
There's just a city by itself. There's way too much work to get a whole lot of that stuff prepped. Might as well use somebody else's idea as your base. Add to it, adjust it.
I wish I could do it. I really wish I could do it. I just can't. I'll make maps. I'll have a map generator make maps for me, because that I can't do. It's too time consuming and tedious for me. It's not relaxing for me like it may be for you, great old ones. I prefer writing up culture and creating characters and coming up with pantheons and doing AI art and all that stuff. I just find map creation tedious, so I will happily steal a map or generate one. There are some sites out there that sometime I'll maybe, if you're okay mentioning them, Bill, that I could mention, that do a decent job generating decent city maps that you can easily populate. But it's the map thing that really gets me down. Creating the people and the culture and all that stuff, I love. That's my therapy.
But I love making maps. So.
We should work together. If only there was some way that like you could do maps and like your brother
I'm still
could do
working
art.
on the third part of that map that you and I talked about. I've got to do the guardhouse. Yes, good. I will get it done. Yeah.
It's chill. I explicitly told you guys, just whatever, man. Just do whatever you want. And that was a mistake. That's on me. No.
Let me tell you what, one of the best things you can get if you struggle making town maps and you don't have any to steal, one of the best things you can get is actually the Outdoor Geomorph Set 1 Walled City. That there is a PDF of it. You can just print those things and knock out city maps to your heart's content. It is a Lego set for making city maps. It's on drive-through. I'll put the link up in the chat. But it is an old school product. It was made by Gary.
Is it just called Dungeon Geomorphs?
It's Outdoor Geomorphs Set 1 Walled City.
Okay.
It is allegedly for OD&D and Basic, but if you only need it for maps, it doesn't really matter.
For dungeon maps, yeah. Or no, you said outdoor. So
yeah, it is for city maps. It is. It includes 22 5.25-inch square geomorphic city town pieces and 11 2.5 by 10.5 additional city town pieces, which are semi-geomorphic. That's you make your walls and stuff out of. So yeah, if you need a town or a city, it's a handy set to make maps out of.
Judges Guild happens to have a huge city that you could steal and use if you can find it.
It's the
City State of the Invincible Overlord.
Yeah, City State of the Invincible Overlord. I used the Great Wilderlands Beyond, I want to say, is the game setting that is located in. And
the Wilderlands of High Fantasy, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's had a couple different names, but yeah, you're right. They always use that kind of vague. I don't remember which version I have, but I ran a Rollmaster thing in that, and all I did was use the map and some of the encounters. I just made up my own stuff.
Sure, why not? It's a huge city that you can use stuff like this. They also have lots of other small towns and cities and stuff that they've developed for some of their products. Steal everything. You don't have to make your own stuff up. If you just want to use the map, that's fine too, and then make up the stuff that's on the map. Saves an incredible amount of time.
I was going to say, I took the map that I'm using for the BX thing I found it online. I collect images, and I did this. I don't know when I picked this map up, 20 years ago. Someone just posted it online somewhere, and it's amazing. It looks like one of those MERP maps. It had nothing on it, no writing, no north-south dial, no nothing. And it was an amazing map. And I was like, I can put whatever I want on this. And that's what I'm using for the BX thing. I have no idea where it came from, no memory of getting it. But you look at something like that and you go, that person wants somebody to do something with this. This is just, hey, here's a map. Make a world with this. And I'm very appreciative of people who have that drive to do that. I wish I was one of them, but I only have so much time, and writing kind of gets it done for me therapy-wise.
Sure.
Yeah. Jason Jacobson commenting about the Geomorphs. That's been out of print for a long time. Yeah, but I mean, that's a good, clean scan. And again, if you need, if you have need for a small town or a small city, Geomorphs kind of thing. I'm going to cut against the grain a little bit. I have never really gotten that much into Judges Guild stuff. I know, shame on me. We've talked about the JG stuff. We did an entire Let's Read for a few weeks, Dark Tower, which is a busy dungeon for what it is. It is an exceptionally busy dungeon. But yeah, it was just never on my radar, you know. I'd see it. It didn't say TSR. It didn't say Dungeons and Dragons, and I didn't pick it up.
The art didn't do it a lot of favors, I think, in a lot of ways.
No, it did not. And that was always a big draw. I mean, you look at like one of the first modules I ever bought outside of Keep on the Borderlands was Slave Pits of the Undercity. Jeff D's art on the front and back cover of that looked like cells from an unproduced animation.
Yep.
That's how good that art looked to me as a kid. Like I literally did a double take. I'm like, are they making a D&D movie and this is part of it?
What was the superhero comic he did? It was not a main chain. It was like, all I remember is that there was a villain called the Electrocutioner in it. He did a superhero comic.
He did a superhero RPG called Villains and Vigilantes.
He did a. I could have sworn he did a superhero comic that was on one of those like indie 80s comic book labels. It might have been one that like had Flaming Carrot and stuff too. I don't know.
He certainly may have. He certainly may have because he he was everywhere, and there was this kind of funny story because I interviewed him at Page, and then I interviewed the creator of Bunnies and Burrows at Page, and so Jeff did the illustrations for the first edition of Bunnies and Burrows. And then I had the guy that created Bunnies. So I had the creative team behind Bunnies and Burrows.
I'm being corrected out there by David Mills. He is correct. Bill Willingham did the elementals for Comico. That's what I was thinking of. So I was incorrect.
Yes, Willingham.
They have a similar style.
Bill, I don't respond to anyone's posts on X Willingham. I have, guys, no lie. I have asked Bill Willingham, please, can I interview you? Nothing. Radio silence. Don't go harass him. Don't go harangue him. He's absolutely free to know. I wish I could. I would love to talk to him about his art over the years.
Right. Well, my personal harassment of him over the years is just that's been an ongoing thing. So don't think that has anything to do with you. That's just my own separate thing I've been doing. So.
No, I know.
My own.
Who are some of your favorite artists? Great old ones
for like
RPG art, RPG art.
I mean, I really like Tracy Lesch's art. It's some of my favorite stuff because looking at that kind of stuff as a kid, and you know, that the Mind Flayer image, it was something else.
Right on.
That got you, right? I like that. Darlene's art, I think, was really, really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a feeling to it when you look at it.
Yeah. I don't. You know, it's funny. There hasn't been any really bad art as far as technique goes for D&D. I don't think there have been bad examples of art. I mean, there's poor art in first edition AD&D. I think the lineup of character races in the player's handbook is laughably bad. Shame on Dave Sutherland for putting that in there. That's a terrible drawing.
It gets the point across.
It gets the point across. It does get the point across. I feel like the stuff like Clyde Caldwell and Larry Elmore and Jeff Easley did great stuff, but I think they were also feeling the heat from TSR corporate about what you can and can't draw. So like the raw beauty we got in OD&D and AD&D was technically improved on, but I feel like it was squelched. And then Wizards of the Coast just kept going down that path. But it seems like with 5th edition, they said, look, purple and blue and blue green. Those are the colors you can work in. Occasionally, if you want to do a different color, you can do stuff in shades of red, but otherwise, that's it.
But the book has to be about fire if you do that.
Yeah, exactly. The book has to be about fire if you do that. Otherwise, purple, green, blue, green, and then white, like, for clouds or something like that. And I've talked to Richard Witters. We've had him on the show. I know those guys love the classic AD&D art, but then they get an email. We need 3 female elves posed like this, doing that, looking like this, and it needs to look exactly like that. The end. That's what you draw. Not like Darlene, her art in the Dungeon Master's Guide is literally the portfolio she took to a dinner party or some kind of civic affair where she met Gary. And Gary's like leafing through her portfolio going, yes, I like this. I like that. That's good. How much for all of them? But like she literally didn't. And Gary was just like, I'll buy them all, and stuck them in the Dungeon Master's Guide, right?
Can I ask David Mills something here?
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Mills.
So Dave, he said he's talking about Bill Willingham at least twice now. I'm the only thing I really remember, and I'm probably wrong, but there was a comic book, a mini series. I think it was a DC series. I think called The Weird. I want to say he did the artwork on. I don't know. I'm not remembering things as well as I used to, but it was like a limited series that they did in the 80s, which were really big, and it was an alien who became ultra powerful and took over the body of a human or something. I want to say it was a very common theme in the 80s, just like Beyonder in Secret Wars. But I'm waiting to see if he's still here. If Dave Mills is still here. Anyways,
yeah,
I don't know. Not
him.
him. No, it wasn't him. Okay. So we've established that my complete lack of credibility on the subject of who did comic book art in the 80s. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's all right, man. That's all right. One more question for great old ones. Alan Canny, how do you handle PC's negotiations with Monster? Only before combat occurs?
No, they can start talking to them in the middle of combat too if they wanted to. There's no reason why they can't do that. I mean, you've got the reaction rolls and stuff like that in there. Sometimes they may be indifferent to you. Some of them are going to outright attack you. Like you've got a party with a couple of elves in there and you walk across some hobgoblins. They're not going to be tolerant to that. But, in the middle of the fight, you're losing. There's no reason why you can't stop and start negotiating at that point in time. That's all part of the role playing, part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Defeating the encounter doesn't necessarily have to be beat them up.
And that's something that ties back into what we were discussing earlier in the show. And I think that's a very important point that you bring up, great old ones. I mentioned this before, that one of the most ruinous things that was ever put in D&D was challenge rating. Because challenge rating basically says, it just puts a dartboard out there. And there's something in every ring, and you get something for hitting every ring. There is no let's talk about, let's negotiate with these guys. Let's interact with these guys. There's, okay, well, there's 3 of them. We're this level, so they're beatable. Let's fight them.
Right.
Bernie Wrightson, that's the name of the artist I was trying to think of. Bernie Wrightson.
Not
Bill Willingham.
Man, Bernie Wrightson was so good.
Yeah.
God, what a talent Bernie Wrightson was.
Yeah.
But
BW though, so give me a little credit. I got the initials right.
Fair enough.
My favorite meme is there's a lot going on in the world. Most of it is not your level.
Yeah, exactly. And CR was meant to yank everything down to your level or to pull you up to its level or whatever. And you are basically told, if you're not doing this in your D&D game, you're a bad DM. This is what challenge rating is, what you should be doing. It's how your game should be progressing. And it was the beginning of terrible trends. because it was designed to make a D&D game last a set specific amount of time. I went on, when I was on the show, I was talking about this, about how Wizards of the Coast had created this equation where they said people want to play for this long, they want to get their characters up to this level in this amount of time, and so on and etc. And that's the nature now of D&D, is that, look, your campaign can't last more than 6 months. We'll all be at 30th level by then, if you're doing it right, if you're doing it by the book. And it killed game longevity. It really killed game longevity. And I think that ties back in. You want to know how to make your games last? Throw out challenge rating. Just get rid of it. Don't let your players have a wired in meta connection to everything we're going to face is a fight, because we can win every fight because every challenge is balanced. So that's something else you can do to preserve game longevity. Don't use challenge rating. Am I right, gentlemen? If you disagree,
you need to kill some people off.
Yeah.
not all of them. To kill a guy off every year, and so most of them are okay, and there you go. That's how you keep it.
To make it a meaningful story, they need to understand that there are things out there that are both more powerful than they are and weaker than they are, and they need to know how to deal with both of those.
And just because you can kill something doesn't mean you should. I mean, I think I try to do that with Paul and your thing. He's there's been several occasions where he's not let the party. I think they might have made a different decision if Paul wasn't there on some of these people.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you run your character as you wish to run your character, and and
it's fun. It's when the GM is role playing, when the GM offers role play, take him up on it. He's not doing it for no reason. You can tell when there's not role play to be had, because the GM's deep into some chart in the book and rolling dice, and you're just like, okay, now is not the time to be like, I'm going to go up to this artisanal sword shop and learn every person's name in there.
Yeah, exactly. The party is locked in Mortal Kombat in the gambling house, and you're like,
right.
Wait a minute, there's an armorer that's open tonight. I'm going to walk next door and deal with him. I'll see you in a few minutes. Would do. Yeah, that's what my character would do.
So your character would get choked by me. That's what you're saying.
Choke slammed. I'm gonna answer Alan Canning's question about alignment language. Even though he aimed it at you, great old ones, but
I did answer him no in the chat, but yeah.
Oh, okay. But my take on alignment languages is that they are not written, understandable languages. They are a series of secret handshakes and gestures and catchphrases and little snaps of prayers and so on and etc. that you can communicate the concept that you are a given language, or that you are a given alignment, but you do not. You do not have like books written in lawful good. Today's chaotic neutral daily newspaper, it just came out, guys. Let me get a copy of that and do the word jumble. That's not it. That it's like a Freemason's handshake, or a passphrase or something like that. Something that would fill like half a page of written paper. And as far as so if I change alignments from lawful good to lawful neutral, I lose the ability to speak that. Well, yes, you stop practicing it daily. You put it out of your mind. You abandon those ethos. You don't feel them anymore. You can't say them with conviction. And it gradually just goes away.
Is there any there? I don't think there is any mechanic in first edition for this, but I would do it in a homebrew personally, which would be: can you learn other alignment languages and keep them up?
Assassins can do it as part of their facade
Okay,
of that, but
Makes
by
sense.
and large, people don't. Did Gary suggest whole towns could be a single alignment on average? I don't recall reading that. Either one of you guys?
They have
No.
region. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Old
I
One.
don't remember anything about whole towns being a single alignment on average. But did your game run it how you want, right? But
Yeah.
I don't. As far as I don't think he gave you guidance on how to drill down to that level in a town or something.
There were regional
Sure.
alignments in Greyhawk. But when it comes to my town, I just use the exact same map for every town, and all NPCs are named Ruprecht.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a town that's in general a lawful good town. That doesn't mean there's not lawful neutral and lawful chaotic good characters that are in it, but its entire bent in general is in that direction. That's
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna find like outlaw cultists in IUs who worship Barry or Hieronius or something like that, and it's going to be under the cover of darkness, very quietly as they plan to try and escape. But just like you're going to find Tharosdun cultists in the city of Greyhawk, right? Maybe one or two insane people, but yeah, by and large, it's gonna. It may lean one way or the other, but yeah, you're going to have it sprinkled around.
and that kind of situation necessitates alignment language.
Yeah, it really does. You don't want to accidentally, babble the lawful good passphrase to an off-duty member of the city watch, because the next thing you know, again in IUs, they're burning your house down with you inside it.
And that tends to be bad.
That tends to be bad. That is where the term getting fired comes from. No, it really does. Look it up.
But you
Well,
will
gentlemen,
be fired.
we have come to the bottom of the second hour that we've been going on. Is there anything else you'd care to discuss? I think we put to bed the idea that a campaign can't have legs for more than a couple of years, and that a campaign must, by necessity, be small.
The concepts that do not need putting to bed because they're self-evidently dumb.
Yes, very much so.
No, I think we've had a great discussion.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're very welcome. You said, and here we are. We had some fun.
Yeah, appreciate you jumping in. Yeah, absolutely.
Half of the a little less than half of the Monday night AD&D group. So
Well, we're the important ones, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now you guys said that, not me. But anyway, gentlemen, as always, help yourself to some Baklava and Schnapps in the green room. I am going to send the rest of these people packing. Everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight and listening. Thank you to Gonzalo. Thank you to Great Old Ones. Thank you to Alan Canning for the super sticker, and to Gonzalo for the super chat. You guys quite literally helping keep the lights on. Please drive safe tonight if you would. And if you need a ride home, see the owl bear and he'll call you an Uber. At least that's the sound he makes before he eats anyone. Uber, Uber, Uber. Anyway, good night. God bless. And I'll see you guys around. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.